Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the DreamWeavers Podcast. And we are so excited to have you here. I have
Yeah.
Deanna with me again.
Ah.
And tonight we would love to welcome the beautiful healer, Mr. Adam himself. And I hope I'm pronouncing this last name correctly, Deutsch.
You got it.
Perfect.
Oh,
Thank you. And he is here to talk to us all about some plant medicine. And we only had like this much, and we were like, all right, let's get this started because I am so all in. Adam,
yay.
welcome and
You make
thank
it
you
sound like we
so
just
much.
took plant medicine. Let's just say we only talked about it this much and now we're excited because you said we just had this much and I'm like, "Whoa."
Oh, pre-conversation chat is what I meant. Thank you for the clarification, Deanna. There
Yeah.
you go. Yes, thank you.
You get
And Adam, thank you so much for being here, man. I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
Well, thank you for having me. And if this hits off, maybe we could do another one where we all do take a little bit of a dose and see what happens.
I'm your Huckleberry. Let's go.
Y'all can go and I'll just be the moderator. Depending
Okay.
on what we're talking about. Yeah, we'll let's have
Okay.
that conversation offline.
Well, because I happen to be a
Sure.
real big fan of the tea.
Same here. What
It's
kind of
not in
tea?
here right now. This is just my chamomile hibiscus with a little bit of mint added in for, funsies. That's my evening tea tonight. But no, yes, I do love me some mushroom tea, friend.
I am right there with you because you get it comes on a lot faster. Um, and for me, I like taking like a museum dose in a tea, go to yoga. By the time I get there, it's kicking in. By the time I'm peaking, I'm in Shavasana, and then it's the end. And then you just go about your day. It's beautiful. So it's like
I
it's shorter acting enough.
hmm.
I think like teas, what it does is because it's water, the psilocybin's water soluble. So basically, the fun compounds get just mixed into the water. You drink it, and it's just fast absorption. So rather than kind of a nice little, if you eat them, a nice little, gradual come up, it's kind of more of a blast up and then coast back on down. It's just a slightly different experience than eating them.
Interesting.
Interesting. Now
Mm.
do you incorporate this kind of experience into your healing practice, right? Yes. Um, I will give, depending on the person, generally speaking, it's not unless they ask for it or if, they feel like they're stuck on regular modalities, or some people are just more adventurous than others and they just want to go with it. But depending on what they want or where they want, I start with a lot of breath work and somatics. Um, when I had my Kundalini awakening, something was guiding me and it told me I needed to get grounded, centered, and balanced. And then it guided me through like 6 hours worth of energy work, which was a combination of hatha yoga, kriya yoga, but it was like my own twist on it. Basically, my mind was racing during that time, so I was telling it to just focus. So I would stop all thoughts and just focus on whatever I was doing. And then I would tell myself to connect with my body. So I would like twist my arm in a weird way or get into my hips and feel what's tight within my hips or in my legs. And then I would zoom in on the tight muscle and then I would engage, and then I would like basically do engage, where I would flex the hell out of the muscle and then stretch it at the same time, or stretch the muscle and use the opposing muscle to flex that to stretch even further. Um, and then I would just lay down in Shavasana. So that's where I came up with one of my classes that I do is focus, connect, engage, enlighten. So where I walk and guide my students basically through that. And my classes, I do give plant medicines. The over the counter is CBD and lion's mane. The fun ones are going to be THC and psilocybin mushrooms. And then I can do cacao and blue lotus teas as well. They're a little bit different. But those are like the six that I kind of use. And Yeah, I like mixing. I like teaching classes with that, and I go into it with the students as well. So I kind of know, all right, where are we in the process? Where are we? Are we coming up? Are we leveled off? Are we coming down? And I kind of gauge the breath work and the intensity of the class based off that. And I do ask, prior to the class, is it okay if I tap into all of you to kind of feel what collectively needs to be moved around? Um, and I feel like it helps people connect on a much different level. I mean, I believe we all have some psychic abilities, if you want to call them that, or like some sort of energetic feeling. And the plant medicines just help everyone get on the same wavelength, it feels like.
Oh, that is so cool. That is
And
so cool.
so when you say tap in, do you mean tapping into the collective? Is that what you're referring to? Like you just, because that's what I understood, was you said you always ask the class if you can tap in to see what needs to be moved, you know, can you
So
do it
I,
one-on-one or as a collective or a combo thereof, depending upon
uh,
what the needs are?
Yeah, I'll do both.
Yeah.
These are one-on-one sessions sometimes, and I usually do like one class a month at the Align Collective, where that's how I know Deanna is because we're both
Hmm.
practitioners there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I really do like the class settings. So basically, with that, the way that it kind of goes is I'll do either a set music and then breath work, like intuitive guided breath work to music, or I'll have a music set going and we'll do just different modal, like different somatic, different kriya, different, it's whatever comes up. It's like, so I do ask the class, like, is it okay if I tap into every one of you kind of as a collective unit? But when I walk over to someone, I can feel, uh, okay, there's something going on in the throat chakra on this guy. Or I'll walk over to someone else and I can feel other stuff. So based on what I'm feeling, um, I will just have certain people do certain things, like we kind of break off. But for the most part, I try to keep my classes everyone doing kind of the same thing. And then towards the end, I like to give like a solid 15 minutes of Shavasana, and I kind of just do an energy scan over everybody. And I just feel if everything feels clear, that's great. But if I start feeling like some static in my hands when I'm going over them, um, if it's over their solar plexus, I will have them do certain breathing exercises and certain flexing of certain muscles that I'm feeling on me. I will have them do it, and they will tell me, "Oh, I feel this release." It's still very new to me. I'm not. I know a lot of people have had these gifts for a very long time, and they've been working on them. Mine just kind of reappeared, if you will, a couple of years ago. So it's still like very cool to me when people tell me like, "Holy shit, how did you know? How did you know that?" Because I had one
Honey, it
dude
never stops
where,
being cool.
okay, all right, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it never stops being cool.
No, I mean, I really I vibe with what you're saying, um, because of the types of healings that I do there. The Align Collective is a really cool healing and I don't know, healing and other community in our
Yeah.
local town where we'll put the link in the show notes because if you're in Rochester or nearby, it's a place to go. It really is. Um, but my healing journey has been on and off for many years, but it hasn't changed in the fact that it's like, oh my God, that was so cool. I think Adam, you were at like the first really big healing that me and my healing partner did over there a couple of years back, and I think you had said you were feeling something, and it's just amazing. So it is always going to be cool. Just love it. It is the best. It
It
is
was it
the
was really cool.
best.
I remember when you were coming over to me, there was some sort of like magnet. I felt like a magnet, and when you were up in my shoulder, the magnet was pulling me up there, and then you walked down my feet, and I could feel the magnet energy feel like go all the way
Gosh.
down my body as you were walking past me, and
Yeah.
and I was on plant medicines during that session. That's why I like taking them because it does enhance that feeling. It does bring that out because I feel like it just gets your ego out of the way. So it's just this body and it's just you.
Hmm.
There's nothing else going on. And like from a
And my
chemical,
awareness and focus shifts and changes. If
yes,
I want to dial in and focus on something, I can instantly do that. If I want
yes.
to also think about, okay, I'm going to let this over here play out for a second. I'm just aware, aware, aware. And I swear it heightens my aware and focus senses, as
I
well as
agree.
everything that you just said. It
Yep.
brings you into the body and yeah. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm
Hmm.
all excited.
Yeah, yeah.
I am so excited. You have no idea. This
Rhoni, you
is
do need to
like,
come up to New York and visit.
this is so my jam. Well, not right now, honey.
No, someday you will.
Oh,
Um,
this summer,
so what got you into doing this? Was it just your own
yeah.
experimentation or like a really good Grateful Dead concert? Or
Yeah, tell them about
how
your
did you get on
journey.
this path? Yeah.
So I started meditating. I was basically, I noticed something was wrong, and I had like I had a full plate personally going on through work and like some other family stuff going on. I had a really full plate. And I now looking back, like I look at the programming that I was choosing to be. I was a MAGA Republican, if you can believe that.
Oh,
Um,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. That's what started it because I'm like, why am I
Wow.
pissed off all the time?
Yeah.
I started seeing a psychologist in 2022, and he's like, just stop watching the news.
Yep.
And I was like,
Yep.
okay, all
What a
right, I'll stop.
concept.
Right, right. I was like, all right, I'll start doing that. Because like some of the what wasn't making sense is I'd watch Fox and I'd listen to these right-leaning stuff, and then I'm looking at poll numbers where it's like only 30% agree with what you're saying. 70% against that. So like to me there is a disconnect. And
Hmm.
then like a lot of the news like oh the voting machines are all messed up and like all this stuff and I'm like but how come all the courts are kicking it out? So like I was starting to like realize the mental gymnastics that people were going through and I'm like this doesn't make any sense to me. And started going to therapy, then I started meditating a year after that. And then stuff in my personal life just went to shit. I got fired from my job. I had an anger outburst on LinkedIn, and it cost me my job.
Mm.
Um, and then, and I don't have any ill will to my old boss. Like he told me that day, he's like, I hope this is your wake up call. And it was, it really was.
Hmm.
And I'm thankful that he did that. He fired me actually. Because then I was able for the next 7 months, I was meditating 6 to 8 hours a day. I would lay right down right here on my yoga mat with no music, windows open, listening to the birds and traffic, just staring up at my ceiling for hours a day, just letting my mind just, I don't even know what to say, just verbal, like vomit everything out of it.
Yeah.
Um, so then a buddy of mine brought over mushroom chocolate bars, and I'm like, I've never tried it. What the hell? Why not? So I took like, I didn't know what to expect, so I started like really small dose, and I didn't feel anything, felt nothing. A couple weeks went by. I'm like, I'll take double what I took. So I think that it was around a gram. And honestly, the only thing that I would describe that I felt was like pillow feet. It felt like my feet were walking on pillows.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and I was like, okay, all right, cool. So fast forward to July 8th of 2023. I had been meditating since February, so call it 5 months. And I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna get super high tonight and didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I had done some research on mushrooms and like everything, like what's a bad trip. So like I had an idea, you have to surrender, you got to just let things go. And it's a wild story. It's cool though. So I take an entire chocolate bar and a half, which is 6 grams. And then I had actual mushrooms on top of that, so at least 6.5 grams, at least.
God.
I took a 75 milligram edible with that and kicked it off with bong rips. So
You were gone,
ripping.
man.
I was ripping. So what happened was I'm sitting, it was like 8:30. I took
You were
them.
ready to fully disintegrate to be rebuilt.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a
That's what
blue
you were ready
screen.
for. You're just ready to
Yeah,
throw out the old and be like, all right, let's do the new.
right.
Yeah.
So I did
And that's
that.
one hell of a way to do that.
Oh yeah, it was wild. It took them like I don't know 7:30. At 8:30 comes around and or maybe like 9 o'clock at night comes around and I'm like I'm getting like I'm fucking antsy. I'm telling my wife I'm like I can't sit still. And I got my yoga mat and I just started doing sun salutations just instinctively. Nothing. I just instinctively. It was like you need to just move around. So sun salutations it was linking the breath, doing it all. And my wife's like, all right, this is weird. I'm going to bed. I'm like, okay. And
You
and
deal with it. I'm out. I get
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, pretty much. So I started doing this and then I felt a negative energy at my back door. And I remember asking God, I'm like, all right, dude, like something feels off. If you don't mind, like I would like a little protection during this. And I looked up and then I see this column of white light come down and then a net come like this white net come around me. And I'm like, and immediate safety, immediate complete safety. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So I kept doing more sun salutations, and like next thing you know, I'm like doing hatha yoga where I'm holding a plank and just holding poses, and I have a mirror wall behind me. And I was doing like telling myself, focus, focus, focus. Anytime my mind would wander, just focus on what you're doing in the present moment in your body. And next thing you know, like the mind chatter would be focus, 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 focus. And then it would be like a minute of just nothing up here. And then I would look at myself in the mirror and say, how the fuck am I bending this way? Because I was doing like, I was in pyramid with twists. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm doing this. And then it was just focus. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. You're doing it. Just do it. So then it gets pretty dramatic. I'm having like a bad trip, I guess you could say, and I'm holding a plank, and it's just the intensity is just fucking cranking. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but these are the words that I said. God, this is too much. I need you to take over. The second the R completed on the word over, I felt this jolt come through my entire being. I'm not shit. It was like, what is this? Like just incredible power. Um, and then I was just effortlessly moving. I mean, I was doing side planks and stuff that would be very difficult for me right now, effortlessly. No thought, just do it, no problem. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I went back into a plank, probably did some sun salutations in between, but then went back into a plank. This turquoise king cobra comes out of my floor and just looks right at me, jumps right into my third eye. I downloaded the universe. I was everything. I had like that true, I was all is me, everything is connected moment. And it was just unbelievably overwhelming. And then that's when the breath work started getting cranking. That's when like I really started hitting the like the somatic movements and the twisting and the kriyas um, for 6 hours. And I started doing this one kata because I
That's
practice
amazing.
karate, and
Was your
it's a
whole,
big
I'm gonna back up for 2 seconds.
sure,
Was your
sure.
whole trip 6 hours, or you were just doing these Kriya somatic breathing and motions with your body for 6 hours?
I was doing just that for 6 hours,
That's what
and
I
then
thought you meant.
yeah, and then it extended a couple hours after that too. Like it was a long one. Yeah.
Well, you took that much. Okay, go ahead.
So, um, during that, so yeah, the snake comes in and I'm just doing my focus, connect, engage, enlighten. And I did record this too. Like I have recordings of this night where I'm channeling something. It's wild.
Mhm.
And it just kept sensei is what it kept it just said you need to get balanced, you need to get grounded, centered, and balanced. That's what it kept telling me. You need to do this. Okay. And then it was just going through, having me go through all these poses and open up all sorts of muscles. It felt like I got hit by a train the next day with how much energy was just surging through me. Um, it so I was doing this breathing kata, and it's a lot of horse stances for this. So next thing you know, I'm in kind of a wide straddle position, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and it just told me, okay, Adam, you're not your legs are frozen. You cannot move. Basically, it felt like it was to protect me. It was like you can only move your upper half, and sure as shit, like it was my legs were part of the floor. I could not move my legs. It was as if I was paralyzed from the waist down. And I'm like, okay. And then this pendulum started swinging, and I'd feel a little happy, and then it would swing over, and I'd feel a little sad. It was probably like a true psychotic break. And then I would start laughing hysterically. Then I'd start crying hysterically. Then I would start laughing for joy. Like, let's say that first set was sadness. Then I'd start laughing for joy. Then I'd start crying for joy or like happiness. And it worked up this ladder to where we got to rage, hate, wrath, antichrist consciousness. Like it swung me over to this, and I see why it froze me in place. So I couldn't do anything. I could feel all of these things, but I wouldn't necessarily act out on anything. That's what I think was helping, guiding me. Because I felt it, and it was like unbelievable power. Um, it was like when oh, I don't know, one of the Jedis, when Yoda was talking to Luke Skywalker about the dark side and how it's intoxicating and how it can lure you in and it's very, very, very powerful and it's seductive. Like I felt all of that. But then I'm like seeing, I'm like, I'm in control. It's total ego, complete power ego. And I could control everything. And then I saw like decisions that I would make would hurt other people. And it as powerful it was, it didn't feel right. And it almost felt like I was reborn. And it's like, okay, Adam, you get to choose your character. Here's what it's like to be a villain. And it showed me that first. I had to reject that. I rejected it because I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. Okay, bingo, pendulum swung. Next thing you know, my heart chakra just exploded wide open. I would blink and see like flashes of gold, like gold leaves everywhere. Gold and silver when I would close my eyes, that's all I would see was like gold and silver. And it was Christ consciousness. It was joy. It was peace. It was bliss. It was the opposite of what I was just feeling. And boy, did I glad that I moved past that and go into this because it was like, holy shit, this this is how we're supposed to be.
Mhm.
This is like our natural state. Like I'm not high. This is just how we should be. And then after that, I had it was a very rough 4 to 6 weeks after that. I got physically sick. Um, I basically for 3 days just purged everything out, lost like 8 pounds in 3 days. I had my doctor's appointment because I'm like, this isn't right. And I told myself Monday it started. By Wednesday, I told myself if I'm not feeling better by this afternoon, I'm going to need to go to the hospital because I think I might actually be dying. It was bad. I've never
Wow.
felt that bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's almost, I mean, as I'm listening, this is amazing. Like, I have so many thoughts. I don't know if I can get a sentence out, but it's almost as if you got to see and experience the entire range of what it
Yes.
is. And then, like Ronnie said, you kind of broke, but you made your choice, and then you had to purge out all those remaining bits. Like it's reminding me of like the 3 weeks after the first Reiki attunement. I don't know if you've ever been attuned to Reiki, but
I have.
after the first one, you've got a 3 week cleansing period where you feel like crap, your emotions are all over, your body's not feeling right, and that's kind of what it sounds like to me, but oh my God, such an intense experience.
It
It
also
was
sounds,
very,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, Ronnie, go ahead.
As I say, it also sounds very ayahuasca-ish
Yeah.
with the purging. When you mentioned the purging and the getting to choose and the connection with all,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is very reminiscent. Those are normally things that people experience through an ayahuasca journey.
Really? Huh. So that's what I wonder. Sometimes I wonder if the mushroom bars that my buddy brought over were actually like synthetic and they had DMT in them instead. Because I've
Yeah.
never had an experience like that after that.
DMT doesn't
That's a
last
one
that
and
long
done.
though.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've been served Bufo
From
and
my
DMT a
understanding,
couple of
DMT
times.
doesn't last that long. Um, yeah, it's way shorter.
Is that the
Right.
one that they say is the God consciousness one? The
Yes.
medicine? Okay.
Yeah, and it only lasts, from my understanding, just like 15 minutes, 5 to 15 minutes.
That's what I heard,
Yeah.
but I don't know anything about it
It's
really.
very quick. It's very quick. It's in, you have a moment and then it's out from
Well,
what
can
I
you
am. I
imagine?
actually haven't done that yet. DMT I have not, nor ayahuasca. I'm going to, but that's why I say it sounds very, especially with the purging.
That was days after. That was
Yeah.
weeks after.
Yeah, but you're still purging.
It sounds like a
Yeah.
cleanse, a spiritual and
It's
physical cleanse.
yes,
Yeah.
it's all part of it. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So
And the
that was your big, like you said, that was your cleansing,
Indoctrination.
Well, that was
indoctrination.
and that was the second half. I forgot to tell, like the first half was, so this was July of 2023. August of 2022, I almost got hit by a car and I popped out of my body, time stopped. I had like one of those experiences
Yeah.
prior.
Yeah.
And that's what really sent my nervous system into a frenzy was after that. Now I look back and I was like, oh, okay, I was just super sensitive to energy and didn't know how to interpret it.
Hmm.
I didn't know how to shut it off. So like I remember being in my office and around certain people and like, man, like Jesus Christ, I can't be around that person, but not understanding why. Like I look back, that's what it was, but like I would just feel like, God, I feel terrible.
Hmm.
Um, and then I had this experience, 11 months after. So it was kind of a 1-2 punch. And then after that, like I had this appointment with the doctor and I told her, I'm like, I think because the majority of our serotonin is produced in our gut. And I told her, I was like, I think this, and I was open with her. I told her I had this psychedelic experience. I think it's a flood of serotonin or serotonin-like receptor chemical in your brain. And I think it woke my brain up to be like, oh, hey, we haven't been producing this. Got to clear everything out. And that's why I just vomited and shat nonstop for 3 days
Hmm.
and got everything out. And I told the doctor, I'm like, I think my theory was, or my theory is, I think that was my brain telling my body, my gut, you got to produce this stuff for me again. So that way we can live a little bit normally. And
Hmm.
she didn't, she was the first person. She's like, Adam, if that's the case, you're a very powerful healer. That was the first time, that was the first, she was the first person to be like, I believe you. And if that's the case, like you healed yourself. Like
Wow.
you're powerful.
That's
And
not normal coming from
Oh, that
medical. That's
doctor.
amazing. Yeah,
right.
everybody
And it
wants to
wasn't
line up and be her patient now.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
She was so cool. And then after that, I went hiking a couple weeks after that, and my buddy's like a big barefoot guy.
Hmm.
And I'm out with him and he's barefoot. We're in the Adirondacks hiking Big Slide Mountain. And then my feet heat up. And I had had my solar plexus heat up one time after I went through that purge. I was meditating and I felt like someone took a blowtorch to my solar plexus. Like it really felt like
Wow.
someone was burning me from the inside. It popped
Wow.
me out. I was like, is someone here with me? Because like it felt like someone was like physically do it. So I was talking to Josephine, who's the the founder of the Align Collective and my Reiki master. She's like, "Oh, that's your solar plexus chakra healing itself and fixing itself." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So fast forward, then that same thing happened to my feet. My feet just started getting hot in my boots, and I'm outside, and something was like, "You need to take your boots off right now." And I told them like, I will when we get to like a stopping point or when we stop. And my feet got like super on fire, and it's like, "You're gonna take them off right now."
Mm-hmm.
I stopped everything, took them off, and then I walked about 9 miles up this mountain barefoot that day, and I felt unbelievable. I needed the grounding,
Yep. Yep. I was
and
going to
then
say it sounded like the grounding was really important for you at that time.
exactly, and which makes sense because whatever it was like you need to get grounded, centered, and balanced. So I needed to
Yep.
ground my energy. I've noticed I had to ask my psychologist, I'm like, am I bipolar? Because I feel like this and I feel like it goes up here, then down here. And he's like, no, you're just feeling emotions now that you haven't felt in a long time and stop diagnosing yourself. Uh,
You're all over the
Yes.
place. Yeah.
It's part of the
right,
healing process is feeling everything that you've never allowed yourself to feel.
And it
correct.
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
It,
It
it
can.
it does. It does at first. And now I
It's
feel it.
really hard when number one, when you're not, when you are so cut off and so blocked from all of that, and it comes in, that is a lot to handle. And then you don't know what's going on. Exactly like you asked your psychologist, like, hey, dude, am I bipolar? What's really going on in this head of mine? Because man, I am all over the place and I don't understand. Dude, that's a real thing. That's what we call the deep, dark night of the soul, man. And
Yeah.
then from there, you go inwards and you start questioning everything about yourself.
Yes.
And you find all these things. And most people just do it differently. But yeah, man, it's
So
real
yeah.
stuff.
And basically, my feet heated up. Then I felt my I went through all seven of the chakras, including my feet. I don't know if that's a
Hmm.
separate one, but I felt root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and now I felt it over 18 months. It just rose up. And now it's pretty much primarily in my third eye, and it's beginning to like be more and more regular on my crown. And everything that I've read about like moving the energy from your third eye to the crown, it's like that leap of faith. And you kind of just hands off and literally just let your God self drive the wheel. Like, it's the
That's so
best.
cool.
It's the best way. It's just I'm still learning how to do it consistently.
I think the way I've always saw it, and I haven't done any reading about it, it's just kind of what comes to me is that's your channel. That's where,
Yeah.
we work it up from our lower, we bring it up from the earth, we bring it up and we reach it up to the next level. And I know when I'm doing healings, the crown chakra, and there is an energy center up here, which I forget what it's called, and Sheila. If Sheila's watching, yes, I know I'm supposed to know. And there is the one on the bottom of your feet also. So you have these coming at you like head and foot here, and then all these in the center. So, dude, you are not done on your journey. You are not done. There is so much
No,
more. Oh my
no.
gosh.
I'm a financial advisor. That's why it says CFP on my name from
Oh, okay.
certified financial planner. So I have an attachment to money
Yeah.
that I've been working on, and like my purpose is to raise the vibe. Like I think I'm an angel. I feel very, very, very comfortable down here, and I feel like I can easily translate spiritual topics and translate it to, okay, this person's a psychology person. All right, so how am I going to word this to make sense to this person because they're more of a psychology person. Oh, this person's kind of like a physics, metaphysics person. Okay, well, let's take these concepts and like put it in their language. Like I feel very skilled and able to relate with a lot of people. Um, and I'm here to raise the vibe.
So
And
can I interrupt and ask you a question that
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
wondering about? When you had your out of body experience, when you almost got hit by the car, or when you got hit, however that worked out, had you had any types of real spiritual big ones? So
It-
I could raise the question that you either brought the other part of you back with you. Your higher self may have come in and said, "Yo, I'm going around for the second half here." Or I don't know how you are with star seeds and everything like that, but that would be a time that would open in a situation
yeah,
like that. Um, so you're like Adam plus. So cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I like part of me wonders, so like if we go on the quantum level here for a second,
Hmm.
let's have some fun. Okay.
Yes.
What if I'm dead? What if I actually got hit by that car and my consciousness just shifted from that timeline to a completely new timeline? So on that old timeline, I got hit by that car because what happened was it was coming up to a T intersection and this woman in a residential neighborhood and this woman was flying.
Mm.
So what if let's put our God hat on here, okay? So like what if that didn't happen with her, she would I'm pretty sure she was texting and driving. Just the way that it was going, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure she was at least distracted.
Hmm.
If I didn't have that interaction with her, maybe that got her to stop
Hmm.
being distracted while driving. Maybe that was her wake up call. And on my timeline, like I wasn't supposed to die, so like I just had that close call. But maybe on another timeline, she needed to learn a real lesson, and I volunteered, yeah, I'll be that guy for you. And then I got hit by that car to help her teach the lesson. And
Hmm.
but it wasn't ready. I'm not ready to go yet. I'm just helping this person be able, their soul to learn a lesson. And well, Adam, you're not supposed to be dead yet, so we're just going to shift you on over, and it's going to be a close call in your world. But so I've had like these realizations. I'm like, holy shit, am I actually in heaven right now? And everything, I'm just making up everything. Um,
What if all death is just timeline switches and we actually never
exactly.
really go anywhere? We just keep going on
Correct.
what we're doing and we're moving in the future no matter what, because every time we flip a timeline, we keep on going. So
Yes.
maybe, oh, I can't get the words. Spirit is being funny in my brain right now. Maybe you did that for that woman who was texting or whatever. And then you flipped into who you were here, who you really are. You were
Right.
always that. And that was why you had this mission. Now I'm reminded because I don't watch TV a lot, but I ended up watching a movie not too long ago with Keanu Reeves where he played an angel whose job was to help people if they're texting and driving and save them from getting in accidents. So
Great
that's like,
movie.
yes, that's like boom, boom,
What's
right
the
in
name of
my
this
mind.
movie?
I have no idea. It just came
Oh,
on TV.
damn,
I
it
don't
was
know.
just I know it was just out. It was
It
God, it
was
was great. It
really
was
good.
Aziz Ansari. It's got Aziz
Yes.
Ansari, Seth Rogen,
Yeah.
and Keanu Reeves.
It was
It's
All right, I'll
so
look it up. Thank
good.
you.
Good Fortune.
Yeah.
That's the name of the movie. Good
Yes.
Fortune.
Yes.
Thank you.
But I just
Yep.
wonder if like that was like your first job or whatever and you got promoted. And if we're thinking of it in terms of the movie and now you have this
Yeah.
whole other mission or maybe you couldn't know ahead of time what you really are because it would have affected what you did, where you went and how you did things and may not have allowed what needed to happen to happen. I mean, go quantum. Bam, you know.
Right.
Bam,
Yeah.
all of the like my guide calls it filaments and she says we walk on the filaments. My guide is one of the weavers of the universe and she says we walk the filaments. And oh my God, she's giving me chills too. And you know, you jump from filament to filament. How cool.
And
Uh,
the oh go ahead, Ronnie.
I was going to say, and we have to remember this, only the flesh vessel dies.
Right?
Right. Right.
Only the flesh
And the
dies.
flesh is the
The soul
illusion.
goes on. right?
Right.
So it never ends.
Right.
It never
Right.
ends. And what you can do is you can time, people talk about it all the time. You can time shift, you can timeline jump, you can change your course. Yeah, you can just
Yes.
kind of jump from one point to another point.
My brain's
And-
in overload right now because I'm thinking of manifestation when it comes to that and how people, it's always like you can manifest anything. You can have anything if you have your thoughts right or, whatever, whatever. And now you got to wonder if that's how we create our own eternities. It's just we manifest what we have here. We learn some. We take that what we learned, we hop over to another filament or timeline. We take what we learn more. I don't
Right.
need the drugs, man. I don't need the medicine. I'm like blowing my mind here. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just and the weird thing is too is I remember I used to always talk to God. Like and I remember my mom went to this Baptist church and they're like, "Well, do you pray?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, how do you pray?" And I'm like, "Hey God, how's it going?"
Yes.
That's how I talk to God. And like I remember I'm talking to them and I said like, "God, what the fuck is this?" And they're like, "You said fuck to God?" And I'm like,
God made up
"Yeah."
the word.
I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you can't talk to him like that. I talk to him as my best friend. That's all. Like,
Uh-huh.
if I need to bitch, I bitch to him. If I need, and lately it's been, all right, I'm bitching about this, but thank you for allowing me to feel like this. I know, all right, what am I supposed to learn here? All right, what lesson are you trying to teach me? Okay, lesson learned. Can we not have this happen again? All right. Um,
I
but
had
I
that
used to,
same relationship. I had that same thing growing up. Mostly it was Jesus, but God was the one I'd be like, "Hey, tell my grandpa I said hi."
right.
But Jesus and I were out playing in the woods and stuff. It was just yes, and not a lot of people get that. A lot of people get that, "Oh, most holy reverend, I must," and it's like
Right.
you miss so much when you don't have that friendship.
Right, right. And I had that, and then I graduated from college, and I kind of like decided, I guess, to plug into the matrix, and I stopped doing that. I remember I didn't realize that I stopped doing that. So I literally had like a disconnect from God, and it was just my ego running the ship. And now I see like why that's not a good like it's not a bad thing and it's not a good thing. It's just how our choices can impact people. And if you're walking the path with your higher self or God, it's like you're always making the right choice. No one's getting hurt. Everyone's getting the lessons that they need, but no one's getting hurt. Um, it's just a way better way to live.
I love that. I love that. And I think we need to go through some of the things we go through, or all of them probably, to get to where we can actually recognize what it is that we need to know, right? So like
Right.
if you stop your walk with God or you stop chilling out and hanging out with God for a while, you feel the lack of it at some point, or you realize
Yes.
I'm not doing this. But if and so yeah, it makes for a darker time maybe, but it makes for a deeper lesson.
Yes. Yep. I agree.
Holy cow,
Mm.
what an experience you've gone through in the last few years. You've really had a big
Yeah.
open.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been wild, and I'm kind of the person that goes all in on it. So when all this stuff started happening to me, like I didn't know about chakras. I had seen diagrams and seen stuff drawn with the rainbow going up people's spines and stuff, but like I didn't know anything about it. And then I started feeling it, and I'm like, oh wow, this shit's real, or at least it's real to me.
It's
It
real,
doesn't,
yeah.
Right, right. But if someone's never experienced it, they might think you're crazy or something like that. And it's like,
Mm.
well, you just don't know. So
Right.
it's not crazy. It's just you haven't experienced it yet. Um,
That's
and
exactly right.
being able to see that, um, being able to recognize the patterns and recognize, oh, okay, this I'm plugging into this programming here. Okay, I'm not, it's like I can feel that. And the other thing too is after all this, I started recording myself tripping on mushrooms, and then I would post them on TikTok.
Oh.
And Madman Chronicles, if you're interested.
Yeah, we'll put that one in the show notes too.
So, um,
Why?
Why what?
Why did you start posting them on TikTok and why
Oh,
did you start sharing it? What was the purpose behind sharing that with people?
So the reason for filming them was to because you get a lot I get a lot of profound thoughts that come through. And like I would start analyze like basically I was my own psychologist on some of these
Ah,
sessions. And I would just unpack stuff. And a lot of people, I've got, I don't know, about 12,000 followers.
wow.
So they
go you.
like I get a lot of people are like, I really like watching your journey. I love how you unpack things. I love how you think about things. So
I
the
kind of
reason that
thought
I
that's, yeah, that makes sense to me.
so the reason I did it was like, all right, I want to record these. Then my next thing you know, my phone storage started filling up. And I'm like, all right, let me just post. Yeah, and I'm like, all right, I'm a weird guy, so what the fuck? I'm gonna do something that most people don't do, and I'm gonna post my shit on TikTok. And it blew up. It got pretty popular. But I still maintain that I do that for me. It's a way for me to video journal. I don't really prefer to write. I like to orate when I'm thinking, so I just kind of
Hmm.
pop. Well, here we go. I'll just start talking on the phone, to the phone and then I post them. And then, people come to me. It's nice because I do have like a lead flow coming in from that. So people are like, and I don't charge for what I do because I feel like I'm here to help raise the vibe. If someone comes to me and they're like, hey man, I had a really bad trip or I'm feeling real super anxious, I want to help them. It's not going to be, hey, send me something first at the Venmo. And no, I don't have anything wrong. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with charging for it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. It's just when people come to me, I'm like, I don't want, I just want to help them. Um,
Hmm.
and I would love to be able to do it full time, but that's that whole third eye to the crown. Just take the leap and just do it, and I know I'll be taken care of. But that happened. I trip sat and facilitated 6 psilocybin retreats in 2024. So I trip sat
Wow.
and worked with about 60 people over that year. And we had many healers on some of the first retreats. We opened it up to healers who are familiar with the medicine and needed to work stuff out. And I would just sit with them and I would just talk with them because I would listen. I'd be in it with them and they're talking and I could just see right through what they were talking. I'm like, oh my God, it's plain as day. This is what it is. So I would just ask them, what about this? Or what about
Mm.
that? Like one dude, he was hunched over and he's like this. So he's closing his chest. First thing I'm noticing, I'm like, all right, he's protecting his heart chakra. Something's bothering his heart chakra. That's my read. He's like this.
Hmm.
And I start talking to him. I'm like, hey Jeff, what's going on? Like I noticed that you're kind of hunched over like this. Like, is there I don't remember what I asked him, but I was like, is there something eating away at your chest? And he said something and he hadn't it was just mentioned his ex-wife. Or I'm sorry, his deceased
Mm.
wife from like 2 years ago. And I just started like he's talking about it and he's bringing stuff up and I'm just asking and extracting. I think I know where he needs to go. So I'm just asking the questions. And then he just was like, oh my God, that's it.
Wow.
I've had that happen so many times. When 40 people are out of the 60 are telling me this, Adam, you said the exact right thing at the exact right time of when I needed to hear it and how to hear it. Uh,
Hmm.
and multiple healers coming up to me afterwards, being like, dude, you're the real deal. You know what you're doing. You need to do more of this. That's
Make it
when I was
happen.
like, yeah, that's when I was like, all right, dude, it's a calling. This is what you got to
Yeah.
do. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm on
Yeah.
podcasts and meeting
Yep.
other like-minded people and trying to get into diving all in on like that community and trying to attract the people
You're in, brother.
that need
You're
it.
in. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. You are so in. I am so excited. I feel like my thoughts are kind of all over the place because as we started talking, and this is why we were like, let's just hit record. Let's get in there and let's jump in. But I have found exactly what you say. It takes the ego part out of the way. And the ego part is what I attribute to that materialism world, not just necessarily being materialistic, but living in that material world, living inside the matrix, you're plugged in and you're just like this all the time and you know, get up, go to work, come home, repeat, you know. Um and there's, it's I lost where I was going with this because there's so many things happening in my head right now, but yeah.
The
Let's
ego.
take a deep
It's
breath.
just, it's how it's all connected. Just amazing how it's all connected. And yeah, it's just really all connected. And I'm
Yes,
gonna
it
leave
is.
there. And
Yeah. And
understanding how it doesn't matter how you get somewhere, it's just get there.
yeah, our ego is us being God
Mm,
creating a personality for this thing right here. That's all it is.
Ooh.
mhm.
Ooh, I never thought of it like that.
So like I look at things like that. I look at it like that now that everything's a choice. Oh, I'm getting pissed off because anger is a big one for me. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm feeling angry. Why am I feeling like, am I choosing to feel like this? What is going on? And then I learn a lesson like, oh, something was irritating me or something was bothering me. Don't do that again, or don't do this thing again, or don't be around this person anymore because they make you pissed off, or don't watch Fox News because it makes you pissed
Yeah.
off. Things like that. Um, it's just it's I don't know, going deep in with medicine work and breath work, I see when my ego pops up. Like it's always there. It doesn't go away. But rather than being a CEO, I've demoted it to an advisor.
I
So
like
Because it
that.
does have a good
it
purpose.
does. It
It
does. It does.
has a beautiful purpose. And I
Correct.
love that. Instead of being the CEO, it's now just an advisor. That's quotable. My ego
It
is just an
is.
advisor.
That's it.
Thank you,
That's
Adam.
it. Because it's excellent in this realm, and it's excellent at dealing with other egos.
Mm-hmm.
It understand like the higher self is just pure bliss and pure consciousness, and it's like, oh, it's a child's mind, everything, no judgment, and everything's just there. But I think the ego helps give us a little bit of discernment rather than judgment. When I've learned how to integrate my ego, it's helped me get greater depths of discernment rather than judgment.
That's a
I
Um,
like that.
great
Yeah.
way to say that.
Right? Because when we're in ego, it's judging everything, or I'm a fucking retard, or this person's a moron, or whatever. Versus I recognize that thought and I'm like, do I actually think that about myself? Of course not. No. Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
And because usually it's an ego thought, and it's like, all right, buddy, what's going on? Like, why are you what's up? What do you need?
Mhm.
And usually it's tired or hungry.
Yes, yes. Give me chocolate and a nap and I'm good.
Right.
But that's so fascinating. Because as humans, we are driven with our egos. I think that's what the whole ego, id, superego, the whole thing kind of is what makes us, kind of helps define us as human. I mean, you don't see, well, okay, some dogs walk around with ego, but for the most part, our animals don't really have that. They have their id, but they don't
Yeah.
have the full three complement, as it's been described. But if we didn't have that, we couldn't do what we have to do, I think, on a human level. But it's when it goes and becomes the president of the whole darn thing. And that's when it's either, I'm the best person or I'm the worst person or you're the worst person or, and all of those things come in and then your balance just goes to hell because
Yep.
you can't maintain your spiritual if it's continuously being knocked down. So
Yes.
being able to come to terms with it and really balance it is huge because I don't think a lot of people are able to do that. I mean, we are all human. My ego gets in the way all the time. It's what we do. It's who we are. Um, but being conscious of it. That's the secret,
Yes.
and that's the secret that you found and been able to navigate is managing that. And that's a huge thing, and that's probably what is helping you move along this journey so fast is setting
Oh,
that
no
aside.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no question. Because I mean, if you look at what psilocybin does and what psychedelics do, they do the exact same thing that meditation does. It's just meditation. Okay, um, if I'll try and quantify it here. So if our brain is like completely blocked off and it's just straight up ego. And so basically you just have this one little narrow strip in your brain that you're constantly using to process information rather than the whole scope of everything. Meditation just, okay, you get 1% more tomorrow, you get 2% more the next day. Like you slowly start opening up your mind, you slowly start getting it. That's why I think it's a little bit more manageable to do it like to grow spiritually through just good old-fashioned meditation because it's just your brain naturally weaving and naturally opening up and surrendering to new wavelengths and looking at different perspectives. Plant medicines just take that brain of yours, take a sledgehammer, whack,
Yep.
shatter it, and then it's like, oh, okay, you got to kind of put it back together. Um, and in that comes a lot of turmoil. So I look at it like if we're looking at meditation and breath work is just you're taking steps to get to the place. So you're starting from here and then you're getting to here. Psychedelics are just like boom, elevator, straight
Yeah.
up. And it takes the issue with that or what people need after that is the integration of it. Why am I feeling like this? Allowing yourself to feel really low, ask yourself why, what's going on, and that's what I like to do as well as to is post trip work with people afterwards so that way they can figure it out for themselves. Like just do mindfulness techniques, do breath work, learn something that interests you. Like for me, I do karate, weightlifting, comedy, um, yoga, breath work. Like I don't say, oh, you must do these things because that would be my ego saying you have to do it my
Right.
way. Find something that works for you that hits those elements of like, maybe learning an instrument so that way you're getting fine-tuned with your fingers and your hands. Um, Learning a language because now you're using different parts of your brain that you don't necessarily combine to speak a way you don't normally do something that's helping that wide openness that you have learn and solidify more parts of that brain so that way it doesn't shrink back down into your default mode network or the ego. It stays in an expansive state.
So
Wow.
do you
Yeah.
recommend microdosing as well? Because I have found amazing benefits to microdosing to like medium dosing. Just throughout the day, I'll do it for a few days, microdose a little bit, maybe for 1 week, and then I'll take a break, you know,
Yep.
especially like your work week, I'm saying like when I say a week, like a work week. Um, for a while and then I'll take a break and then I integrate, process all of that because what I have found for myself, and I don't know, you speak for you, and plus some research that I've done because I happen to be a huge fan of Paul Stamets.
Same here. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I kind of take a lot of his information um, to heart, I guess, and I believe in the things that his studies are so vast. I
Yeah,
just
they
think
are.
he has so much to offer um, in the mycology world. But for me, when I microdose, what I've noticed is, and that's why I kind of like doing it for a week and then taking, like a typical Monday through Friday thing and then I'll take the
Mhm.
weekend off, and kind of process what happened. And then I'll just go through my next week. And then that weekend, I can really start to see those changes. And I notice how much more sharper, clearer my brain,
Yeah.
in conjunction with, I mean, don't get it twisted. I also, speaking of Paul Stamets, I also order from this company and I order because I like, I don't, I don't know anybody else who has their own, um, forest that are growing
Right.
all these mushrooms that are as clean and pure as what I know that he's doing. And he's also got the science behind it. So in my world, he's working in harmony with nature and the good part of science is how I like to say it, to bring a product to help people. So I mean, like you were saying, turkey tail. Goodness gracious, if only people knew how great turkey tail
Right.
is for you. Your whole body, everything, you know, not to mention lion's mane, like holy cow,
Yep.
another powerhouse thing. So all of these. So I was just curious, how do you feel about all that and what does that look like for you and what do you recommend? That's a lot of
Yeah.
questions in one thing.
So yeah,
Tell
I'm
me
glad.
everything,
So
Adam, and go.
I'll start off. So people watching this might not know what microdosing is, or they might not know what the dosage of mushrooms
And what
is.
is, yeah,
So
that's a good thing. What's a normal dose for people as a rule?
yeah, so a microdose would be, up to a half a gram. A half a gram to a gram is like a hefty microdose. Paul Stamets would say that a microdose is up to a gram per day, which is a lot, I think, especially if you get strong mushrooms. A gram can really, okay. So I will start by saying like a microdose is sub 1 gram. A museum dose would be like a gram to 2 grams. A full dose would be like 2.5 grams. A real psychedelic experience would be 3.5 grams. And then a heroic dose where you get the blue screen reset um, would be like 5 grams or more. So they each have their own, it depends on what the person's looking for. And my theory is that if I were to give you um, a half ounce of mushrooms, or let's say a quarter ounce of mushrooms, it's 7.5 grams. If you were to take all of that all at once or spread that out over a couple of months, I think you would get the same benefit. It's just two different, very, very different ways of doing that. Microdosing, you're getting the steps. I think it's a bit easier to integrate doing it that way. It's not necessarily a right way or a wrong way. It's just I think that that one's a simpler way to integrate because there's small little things that you're picking up. Oh, okay, I can put that into my normal routine. Oh, okay, put it in my normal routine. Versus if we go to the other extreme, like a heroic dose, everything's getting unloaded all at once. Here you go.
Oh, I
And
love that.
it can be a lot to process. Um, I did that. I went in unprepared and not knowing. So, and I mixed it with weed too. So like it's a different experience when you mix it with weed. Um, and I'm not going to not recommend that, but if you do decide to make that choice and go that route, make sure you have some time off.
Hmm.
I would say that that was if I had to go back to work that week, I don't know
Do it
about
on
that.
spring break.
Right.
Since it's right around the corner, I'm just
Should
saying, since
you
it's right around the corner.
should you have a sitter with you if you're not used to taking such a large dose? Would you recommend having somebody with you who's um I don't know what's the right word, sober? I don't know what
I
the
like
right
your
word
word
is.
sitter.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
learned that
Yeah.
from
sitter.
Adam like 15 minutes ago just now, but
Yeah.
somebody who's maybe not under as much of an influence just to be with you. Would you recommend that?
It's a completely different experience. So if you to I've taken big doses just by myself in my home. Um, it's different when you have a trip sitter. It's different when you're outside versus inside. The experiences are all different. I would say that on the retreats, 'cause there was a couple of retreats that I did full doses. I went 5 grams and 4 grams on a couple of the retreats. So I went in with a lot of people that decided to take higher doses. It's it's different. When you have a trip sitter, I do like it in the fact that it's a little bit more freedom because you can kind of take your hand off the wheel.
Hmm.
and you know that they're not going to let you do anything real stupid. So it's kind of like a more of a release situation and more of a freedom because you got someone watching over you. Now, I've done it without that, and I just tap to God. And I'm like, all right, God, it's just you and me, man. And like I just kind of let God be the anchor point for the experience. It's different. It's not wrong. It's not right, better, worse than another. They're just different experiences. Um, so I do like having a trip sitter on certain big experiences because it's fun. You got someone to talk to, you got someone to fuck around with, and like bounce. You're in with people who have experienced what you're experiencing with a good trip sitter. So they know how to talk with you. They know what you're talking about when you're like, I'm God right now, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I've been there.
Cool,
Um,
dude.
yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, okay, tell me more.
Hmm.
Mm.
So it's fun when you have some of them, and then but it's different when you just decide to take an eye mask and just sit in a dark room with a big dose because that's something different. Me personally, my favorite is I take like a gram and a half on Sundays. I go to yoga. I do a back-to-back class. It's a power vinyasa in a 90-degree room, so I sweat my ass off. And then she does a yin or like a Kriya yoga class afterwards to help move energy and like just relax. So I do the vinyasa, then I go into the yin class and just kind of meditate. So it's 2 hour block right there. Then I go into my car and I usually grab my phone and just, all right, what's coming up? What am I processing out of this? Record those. And then, 3 hours later, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I feel pretty good. And then I'm on my day and just on about my week. That really works for me. And if you think about it, a gram and a half, that would be like microdosing every day. And
Hmm.
I feel like I get a
That's about what I take
similar
as a micro, is about a gram.
about a gram. Okay, you're,
And
you're
that's
doing
a
that.
gram is my micro. Um,
Okay.
Sometimes I want to feel it a little bit more, so I'll take a tiny bit more. Sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah. And it really it depends on the strain too. Like I have some Louis Vuittons here that when I take a gram and a half, I shut like I had an experience where I like going to the gym on it. Um, and I had my eyes closed and I could see everybody in the gym. Like I could see their astral body or I could see what color, where their energy was and like what chakra. So I saw a lot of greens and yellows when I was at the gym.
Wow.
A few oranges, like people were just orange. And then I was there and I was looking at listening to these two women. I swear to God, they were talking another language. I recorded it because I'm like, am I not hearing something right? And I recorded it and it was plain English. But as far as I'm concerned, they were going back and forth between Rush. I heard Russian, French, pretty sure Farsi, like a Persian language,
Yeah.
um, some sort of two different versions of Eastern European. It was weird. And they were just bouncing all over the place. And I had to call my buddy. I'm like, dude, I need to get grounded a little bit. I'm in the United States. I haven't changed timelines where we got took over or something. He's like, no, we're good, man.
Wow. That's interesting though when you think just about that experience and what were you seeing? Was it them on different timelines, them in different lives, I mean, thinking about that, that's the kind of stuff that just intrigues me for the whole experience is hearing about it. Like I said, I'm very 100% naive to any of it, but
Mhm.
hearing about like what happens and what it could be, and the opening of your mind to be able to accept, you know what? It's totally real that they're speaking five languages right now. In fact, it's so real. I must be the one who moved, right?
Yep. Yep.
So,
Mine is
yeah.
I love to do like I'll do about a 3 gram. And so just kind of that's what I consider like a medium to heavy dose. Like it's like, it's above that 5 scale. Like on a scale from 1 to 10, we're not talking a full 10, but I'm not down here at a 2 either. I'm sitting
Mhm.
at about a 6, sometimes
Yeah.
7, depending upon. And you love to go to the gym and go to yoga. I love to go for hikes.
There you go. Yep.
Because when
Yep.
I go for hikes, and if I'm a solid, sometimes four, but really I can pick it up on three, because it used to be more. Anyway, I can pick up and I start talking to the trees differently,
Yep.
and I start talking to the grass differently. And I can actually sometimes really pull those stars down. Like if I'm, in the evening hiking or something, I can actually reach up and start to pull stars down to me. The rocks talk, and I can just,
Yes. Yep.
I'm
The
just
trees are
with
wise too.
one with everything. Well, yeah.
They're
Didn't
so wise. They're
didn't Lord of
so
the Rings
wise.
teach us that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like so that's where everything starts to really work for me. And I can get there a little bit. The I guess for me it's again, it comes back to that awareness, and I can
Mhm.
really hear them, and our conversations are so groovy. It's like it's just like I'm sitting here talking to you guys. It's amazing. We
Yep.
can have these, and in person, or when I'm not on, using the plant medicine, when I'm not doing that, and it's just quote unquote sober, right? And I'm hiking, I can breathe with the trees and I can feel their energy and I can be one with them. I just don't hear them the same way. And
Right.
their voices sound so far and muffled instead of, right here with me. It's not this kind of conversation. It's kind of
Right.
like, hey, 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 that type of situation. Like we're on the opposite side of the Grand Canyon from each other, maybe,
Yep. Yep.
for comparative. I want to go back to something real quick, Adam. I have a question for you, friend. When you said, speaking of hiking, and you said you had to take your shoes off, how grounded and one with the earth did you become as well? Did you find that you picked up on the earth as well, or did you just feel it coming up? Did you feel the connection with Gaia by chance?
Um,
Do you
Probably.
recall?
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I, I, I recall just feeling grounded, like unbelievable, unshakable, like a boulder after that hike.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm an accomplished, I'm an Adirondack 46er, so I've hiked all the high peaks of the Adirondacks. And
Go on with your bad
I,
stuff.
yeah, I love it. And it's like that's medicine for me, going up there and hiking a mountain because I stopped during the pandemic. It fucked everything up. And I stopped doing a lot of the things that I really enjoyed doing because you couldn't do it. And I got fired and I didn't have money and blah, blah, blah. And like when I went back up there after it or after I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, I need to be up here. I need to like the mountains are my thing. And like um Adam Deutsch, my dad's side of the family, which I think is the more psychic side, is from Bohemia in Germany and like
Mm.
Czechoslovakia. So there it's a very mountainous range. And I think that, that's why I really enjoy the mountains. I think it's just in my DNA.
Yeah.
No, I got the soul of a desert queen. Uh-uh.
Do you? Cool.
Yeah, the closer to the equator, the better off I am.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm a
there is a
bird.
certain level of hot. Don't get it twisted. There is a certain level of hot, and whew, yeah, it's a little warm sometimes, but I can handle that a lot easier, and I can deal with that and tolerate that. But that cold,
Yeah.
no, I tried New York. No,
It's rough. It's rough.
no.
It's been a rough winter too.
It's a different type of strong. I tell people all the time. That's a different type of strong that Ronnie does not have. I ain't got it. Nope.
So,
I got heat strong.
Adam, if anyone wants to reach out to you, if they want to
Yeah.
get a healing, join, I know that we'll put a link to the Align Collective,
Yep.
where you do run things. Is there anywhere else that people can reach you, or is that the best way?
That would be the best way. You can find me on Instagram as Madman Chronicles. It's mad_man.chronicles. I don't know. It's a picture of me with a mushroom. You'll see it.
It'll be,
And
yeah, it'll be,
then
yeah.
and then on TikTok, it's just Madman Chronicles. Those are good ways to just reach out and DM me. livingthedreamwellness@gmail.com is my email that you can go and email me directly. So that would be the
Okay.
easiest way.
Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Well,
And
wow.
if people were to contact you, what would be one of the main things that they're looking like? What's one of the number one reasons people would call you other than to have this breakthrough? Or
Yeah.
would they
So
mostly just
I'm
call you for the breakthrough?
Or financial planning.
Or financial planning? Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. Thank you, Deanna.
So
I need to meet God and balance my checkbook. So no, I'm joking.
I can
Ooh,
help you.
that's a freaking concept right there. Deanna, you're onto something, girl. I'm telling you, that's
Hey,
a heck
I
of a
already own two
concept.
businesses. I'll just keep pumping out more.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm saying like that, that's a heck of a concept. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm still trying to find out, like, if we're putting on our business hats, I'm still trying to figure out my target market. Um, I
Everybody.
don't know. It's everybody. I would say, if I'm going off my own experiences, I had some anxiety. I think that when I talked to my when I talked to my psychologist, it was just a spiritual experience with the car, with me almost getting hit. When I talked to my MD doctor, he was like, "Oh, that sounds like PTSD." So I probably had some form of PTSD. The stuff that I've processed. And like I've realized that I thought I had a pretty good childhood, but it was pretty fucked up. It was good and fucked up. It's allowed to be both.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
dad smoked crack when I was like 7 to 11 years old. That's not
Oh,
normal.
wow.
Like
No.
that's not normal. I didn't know. It's not normal. So now when all this stuff comes up, I'm like, oh, that's not normal. And his behaviors and things like that. So like I did have some like traumatic upbringing stuff that I've had to
Mm-hmm.
work through.
Hmm.
So I would probably resonate with people who would go through this or are going through something similar that I have. So just speaking freely, anxiety, depression, some forms of maybe PTSD that something's just blocking you. Um, People on the retreats that I've helped are just um, we had a lot of religious deprogramming. I volunteer at the Veterans Outreach Center here in Rochester, so a lot of just calming the nervous system and calming it down. And just it's breath work. It's whatever the person needs. If they want to feel more energized, I got a breath work for you. You want to chill out and relax and just kind of astral project and go somewhere else. Okay, well, I've got a breath work for you. Let's do that. So it's whatever the person needs. I would like to break into like conscious business owners. That would be people that I would want to target, but I'm open for anybody.
Excellent. I think that
Very cool
you've got so much to
to
share.
offer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story and your insights. This has been
Good
an
stuff.
amazing conversation, and we
And you
went way
will be
Absolutely.
longer
coming
than we
back.
usually do. Yes,
So
we're going to
good.
have you back. You don't really have much
Oh,
of a
I would love to
choice in
come
that.
back. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so Ronnie, is there anything that you needed to do, any shout outs or anything before we
Shout outs.
kind of
Thank you for
end?
asking. Yes, yes, yes. Shout out Antonio, Karen, and the rest of you guys who know about this. Hi. I told you I'd do a shout out.
All right. All right.
Love
Adam,
them.
is there anyone that you would like to give a particular shout out to? I know I didn't prepare you for that, so it's up to you.
My beautiful wife that just came down because I told her I was only going to be an hour and we ran a little over. So I love you.
Yay,
Thank you.
beautiful wife.
I love
Yay.
beautiful wife. Thanks for a lot. Thanks for sharing.
And I
Thank
just want
you.
to
Thank you.
say thank you to everybody who tunes in and listens and or watches us. As always, and y'all should be used to me saying this by now, if you do something cool and you want to talk about it on YouTube, hit us up. Chances are we'll say, sure, come on. Let's have a conversation. Um, like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the cool things that you do. Um, and always remember, in all of whatever is going on around you, and in all of the world, and all of the everything, know that you're blessed, be blissed, and know that you're loved. And we will see you again.
We love you.
Ciao.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so much
much.
for being here, Adam. Mwah.
Thanks,
Thank
Adam.
you, friend. Have a
Thank
good one,
you.
guys.
You
Bye,
too.
everybody.